it's the right thing to do for us to mention the fact you did get some media criticism and negative press about an Instagram live video where you were singing all the words to Juicy by Notorious B.I.G., including the word that you know full well that you shouldn't be using. So just wondering what you have to say about that incident in general, really.
Yeah, you know, I was singing a song, my favourite rap song, Juicy, Biggie Smalls. Got carried away in the moment and I've offended some people, so I apologise for that, and I never meant to offend anybody. It's not my intention. I'm against total any form of racism. I'm an advocate against racism. As a gypsy, I suffer racism on a daily basis, and I've got the most diverse team in boxing, so I'm absolutely against any form of racism, and I regret having offended anybody. So big sorry to everybody whom I offended. Not my intentions.
So, moving on, back to boxing.
Yeah, no.
Those are the words from Tyson the Gypsy King Fury as he addresses, pretty much by demand, his vernacular when singing his favorite song, you know, B.I.G., Notorious B.I.G., Juicy, right? And he apologized for offending anyone. Okay? Anyone. So if anyone got offended, you know, he was sorry about that. That wasn't his intention. He was just having a good time. And when I heard it, again, I wasn't offended. I just knew that was stupid. Just like the commentator in this interview knew, like, hey, you shouldn't have been you shouldn't have been using that word anyway. Well, we know that it was his favorite song and all that. We know that it was his birthday. We know that it was a day for him and the things to do what he does. Things you do in your private life should remain private. Certain things should. Okay? Not condoning any of it. But if you notice, Tyson Fury never said, I'm sorry for saying the word. He never said that. He said, I'm sorry for the people that were offended of what I said. You know, so I didn't mean to offend anyone. Because I know what he's saying. Between the lines, he's saying, well, look, that's my favorite fucking song. If I want to say that, I can say that. But it's like, all the things that's going on, all the people that are against you because of the color of your skin. Let's just look at it like that. What he did February 22nd, he created thousands of haters overnight. You know, many different scenarios, many different lies, many different this, that, and the others. Just by doing what he did, being who he was. On top of that, then you say that, they could look at it like, okay, you already beat our black champ. Now you're saying that. Now you're getting too comfortable. All right? So that enraged a lot of people anyway because they didn't like you anyway. So knowing all this, that was already against this guy, then he does something like that. It puts me in the mind of Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was the first black American heavyweight, right? And he beat the reigning champ at the time. They couldn't even have it here. It was so bad. They had to have it in Sydney, Australia. I think by the 5th or 6th round, they turned it off because the commentation was too brutal and it was too one-sided in favor of Johnson, because Johnson was beating this guy to a pulp. It raised riots, uproar, deaths because of the riots, because of the violence, because of this man beating this other man, because this man is the color of his skin, beating the guy that he didn't supposed to have any chance or in hell of beating because of the way he looked. Okay. Doing all that, then you come back here, then you start doing stuff that things that anger a certain group of people, right? So yeah, that reminds me of what's going on here. It's not as bad because that was a whole different time, but times are still bad here. So when you know there's injustice and you know that the George Floyd thing is not even, it's getting better because it already happened, but you still said something too close to that time frame. Now imagine if he would have said it in the midst of that. Oh, he would have been a racist, a Klansman, a white supremacist, a Nazi. He would have been all of it. You see, he shaves his head, right? It was just a stupid thing to do, especially in the time frame. But then again, if someone that's looking to, you're under a magnifying glass for everything you do something like that. You know, so I feel that he needed to say something. You know, on top of everyone else, just like the interviewer said, like, hey, it's the right thing to do. You got to say something about that, you know. But in future references for Tyson Fury, I don't think he will make that mistake again. I know everybody says something and people do get happy at times and get, you know, it was his birthday. I get it. But certain things you don't do, and that is exactly what he shouldn't have done. But again, those are the type things you do in private. That's why people are private, so they're free to do whatever they want to do because there's no one watching. And I know he wanted to share it with certain people, but you have to understand it comes with a price. You know, what you should pick and choose and what's appropriate and what's not, and it wasn't. Okay? Even though it doesn't matter the way he meant it, it's how people took it. And I know he had a lot of people defend it. It's just a song, what the hell? And for those people, here's the thing. When other people are offended, you have these people that are defensive. And it trips me out because it's like, okay, you want to run to aid to Tyson Fury, but understand, what if that was you? And somebody heard you say it and this, that, and the other. Tyson Fury is a celebrity. Tyson Fury is a world champion. Okay? He's a world champion for many titles. So he owes it to a group of people not to offend a group of people. You know, I don't know what the derogatory term for gypsy would be. But if somebody was, you know, if somebody made that, he could have easily been offended. Like, why'd you say that? You know, but it is a good thing that he said something and addressed it, because it's worth addressing, because it did make headlines, and he did say something for it, and I think he's learned from it. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Tyson Fury's apology or addressing the issue of him using the N-word. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys be Counterpunch. Peace.